Hello, everybody. It's Saturday night. Typically, I get out these encounters sent in by a subscriber or an emailer. I usually get them to you Saturday by 2, 3 in the afternoon. However, we did celebrate Mother's Day with my mom today instead of tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm a little behind schedule. I know you all appreciate that. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, to all you moms out there. They're going to listen to this. You're going to like this. It's about the little people, and they're not so friendly, according to this person's experience. They moved out of there. This person that sends the email moved, no longer lives in Lake Superior. They're here in Michigan, actually, but here in the suburbs. And thank you to everybody that's subscribed to Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube. I do appreciate and love each and every single one of you. Please give me a thumbs up. Tell me what y'all think about this. I'm going to get on with it. Rob, I am of Chippewa descent, also known as the Ojibwe, or as my ancestors or descendants were way back, the Northern Algonquian people. I used to live at the shores of Lake Superior with my tribal nation. Throughout the years, we are always reminded of the fierce little people. Some native legends, depending on the tribe, often describe these people as friendly or playing pranks on people, often involving song and laughter. They had an admiration for small children, and legend says that they would protect them. They spoke on how the little people would remove children from dangerous situations or remove them from tribal families that cause harm to them. Oftentimes, when a little person was found by a human, they would beg them not to mention of their existence. They assured some nations that they were to protect and serve. Well, with our tribe, our nation, we differed in opinions. My tribe painted no such picture. The tribes warned us that these bands or families of 36-inch high feral humans were there to deceive, abduct children, and their intentions were both nefarious and in some cases evil. The story that I'm about to tell you is something sinister, with no regard for human or tribal life. It was the spring of 2011, and what I experienced, guys, was neither of a protector of children or anything that was friendly, nor a protector or anything nice. Nothing comforting. The odd thing about this encounter did not quite match the generic description of the little ones. And here we go. I was sitting on the back porch of our trailer eating bread and cheese. It was a cold, hazy day, and the winds from Lake Superior chilled my bones. At the base of our small village atop the hill that encompassed our community was a black object. The object was not clear, but there was something moving. It appeared to be that of a bear. At least that was my first thought, which is certainly not uncommon in these parts. Then the object appeared to drop down to all fours, further qualifying the bear theory, and started racing down the camp very quickly. The image now was in full view, and now I can tell it is not a bear at all. It had the look of a naked, disheveled woman with hair dispersed about her body. except for her chest. This is how the female persuasion was identified, with sagging, oversized breasts. The woman was on all fours. She got 15 feet from my porch and then stood on two legs from her four-legged position. Unlike the little people, when she stood, she was perhaps a tad over or under 5 feet tall, give or take a few inches. Yeah, still short, but not a little person. When she arose, perched on her back shoulders was a crying infant that was gripping to her very tightly. The child almost looked like a porcupine, with sharp quills extruding from his or her back. I honestly could not specify the gender. It looked human, yet animal-like. Outside of that, the infant looked and had human characteristics. The female had gray skin and a very huge mouth. It looked angry and hungry, with drool dripping from the corners of the mouth. The naked woman then snarled, stuck out her tongue, and extended out her arms with her palms out, almost as if she was asking for food. I threw what I had remaining of my bread and cheese out to her. She grabbed it, and as fast as a lightning bolt, spun around and sped off back toward the hilltops, where she eventually was out of sight. The following evening, terror struck our camp. The night drew near, and from the hills, the insidious screams and yells rained down upon my village. Then in the distance, the many shadowy figures, started running down the hillside towards the camp. Then, as they grew closer, they appeared to be that of the aforementioned little people. There seemed to be hundreds of these miniature 3-foot little people. They were all draped in animal skins from a variety of mammals, raccoon pelts, sheepskin, deer antlers adorned their heads, an abundance of different skin pelts and everything adorned their bodies. They were armed with smaller spears, bows, and arrows, slingshots, of which rocks were pelted in our village. There were many more than our community could fend off. We killed some, but many slipped past our defenses. They seemed to have one goal in mind. It was to seek out our infant children. These little people seemed to disregard anything else. They did not seek food, water, weapons, our women, or any resources. They just seeked infant kids or children. The rampage continued for hours, as these little people just seemed to multiply. After their assault, the little people ended up abducting 3 babies, or shall I say, the ages of 3 or 3 and under. No more, no less, it was so difficult to determine what had happened during this melee that it was an hour after they left when the inventory was assessed, and we did find, of course, 3 missing children from 3 families. We all gathered together and put a plan in place to go out and find these stolen children. Just as we were assembled to leave, coming down from the hillside was the 5-foot naked woman from earlier the prior day. She was perhaps only 20 yards out of camp. We stared in disbelief, but we were scared. She uttered in a strange voice her words, and I quote, "Our lifeblood has been fulfilled." Then again she uttered, "Do not extract revenge upon this night, or the land will be cursed for all eternity." The tribal community was aghast, and the debate went on for weeks, leading into months. It was decided that we would forget about that night, with the 3 families losing 1 child apiece. We already knew the outcome. Going back to extract revenge would not be wise. The emailer writes on, "Rob, this took place in 2011, Lake Superior. Lake Superior is vast. Many of you, now I'm a member of the lower states and cities, have no idea what goes on in some parts north. The story is true, and I even risk discipline even telling this. I can now tell you that I live in suburban Michigan today, but I live in guilt. I live in shame. But I needed to tell this story. Even today, I do have to look under my shoulder or over my shoulder for leaving our tribe, as I know many of the elders want me silenced. I just can't continue to lead that life with the luxuries afforded by modern day society in the South. It is not anywhere close to modern day living where I come from, even in 2011 and even today in 2024. I escaped from there, but the hauntings that I experienced will never leave my soul. I'm not leaving a name. You can call me Great Lakes Spirit. You know, you guys, I hear a lot of stories about the little people of Lake Superior that borders Wisconsin, Minnesota, and of course my state of Michigan. The little people are out there. The little people do exist. And I've heard conflicting stories. Some of the little people are helpers, as was mentioned earlier in the story, but some are just deviant, right? This is terrible. If what this person says, in fact, is true, there's a lot going on here, okay? The capturing of the little infant children 3 years and younger, and then the naked woman coming back and saying the bloodline or whatever it was earlier was fulfilled. That's not your typical little person story. I know little people. I've heard stories where they do like to kidnap children, but nothing to the extent where they come back to a community which they just rampage, kidnap the kids, and told them point blank, like kind of put it in their face, this is what we did. We needed them. It's almost like vampirism, right? They needed their blood. And if you come after us, a curse will be cast upon this land for infinity or till the end of times. There's a little more to this story than just little people, right? Again, I normally do a Saturday night show and break this down. I'm not doing it tonight because it was Mother's Day, and We're not doing one tonight, but maybe next week I'll break it down on a Saturday Night Live at midnight. But anyways, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about that, because very intriguing. And quite frankly, guys, it's sad. It is sad. Sad for the families, anyways. It's sad to know that people today choose to live off the land. Now, hey, for those of you that live off the land, I get it. But, not a place I'd want to be. I like my cell phone. I like my computer. I like doing the show. You can't do that from the tribal nations of Lake Superior. I am Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Thank you so much for helping me get to over 4,000 subscribers, on to 5,000. You have a great rest of your weekend. I had a great time with my mom. It was great. Hope you do the same for those fortunate enough to be with your mom. They're cherished. Love them to death. I am Bigfoot Michigan Rob. I love you all to death as well. Take care.